This is the most powerful laptop I've ever used. It's the Lenovo ThinkPad P15 Gen 1. Let's take a look. On paper, this is a beast, and I thought I would enjoy using this laptop, but I was surprised to be disappointed. Right away, you're getting a design that you normally see from a powerful mobile workstation. It's bulky, heavy, and it's got a lot of ports. The bezel is also gigantic. However, it is a ThinkPad, so it means it's durable with military certification for dust, vibration, humidity, temperatures, and more. When you get a ThinkPad, you know it'll last for a very long time. So let's start with the display. Lenovo provides several display panel options, but this specific unit came with the 15.6-inch UHD Dolby Vision non-touch anti-glare display that goes up to 600 nits of brightness. It also comes with X-Rite Color Assistant, which lets you quickly change the color profile between sRGB, Rec 709, DCI-P3, among others, depending on what you're doing. I keep this option on default unless I'm editing videos. That's when I change it to sRGB to help me make sure that my videos are not oversaturated or too contrasty on other people's laptops. The display looks great and does a great job at removing glare. My complaint, of course, is that large bezel. I've also been leaning away from 16:9 displays, and companies are starting to do the same. I think the next version of the P15 will probably have a 16:10 display for more vertical space. On top of the display is the front-facing camera. It's 720p. It's not great, but should be good enough for video calls. A 1080p camera here would have been better. On a positive note, this has Windows Hello Face Unlock, which I like, and a manual cover if you want to disable the camera. The Hinge lets you push the display all the way back, which is handy if you have this set up on a laptop stand. Placed in between the keyboard and the display are the speakers, and this is my least favorite part of the laptop. It doesn't sound great. It's branded with Dolby Atmos speaker system, and there's an app that lets you optimize the sound, but yeah, it's disappointing. Music and movies sound teeny, and I understand this wasn't built as an entertainment laptop, but more of a work laptop. But I'm currently working from home where I might watch some YouTube videos during my breaks, and the speakers just don't provide a good experience. A workaround, of course, is to use headphones. Now on to the keyboard. ThinkPads are known to have great keyboards, and the P15 is no exception. I can type really fast on this. Now, I don't like numeric keypads, but it's there, and others like that on their laptops. There are dedicated keys for answering calls. They currently work on Skype and Microsoft Teams. There's also a shortcut to the Action Center and the mic mute button. And of course, since it is a ThinkPad, it has that red track point and 3 buttons on the trackpad. Now, I don't use this, but I know a lot of coders and a lot of people like this because you can type and move the mouse without lifting your hands. The trackpad is responsive, and I can certainly do all the Windows gestures, but I'm not a big fan of how it feels. It doesn't feel smooth like glass, and there's a tiny bit of friction when dragging or scrolling. Now, this is not really a big deal since I also use an external mouse. Below the arrow keys is the fingerprint scanner. It's also fast when unlocking the computer. Now, I do prefer Windows Hello Face Unlock, but it's great to know that you also have a fingerprint scanner that's reliable. On the right side, there's a USB Type-A port and SD card slot. That's great for creators who need to offload files from their cameras. The left side has the HDMI port, USB Type-A port, and headphone jack. On the back, you have AC power, 3 USB-C ports, which 2 of them are Thunderbolt 3, and you have an Ethernet jack. Also worth noting that there's a bunch of vents here you can see on the left and right sides, also the back and the bottom. So you can customize the specs depending on your budget. You can get up to 10th gen Intel Core i9 processor or go with Xeon with vPro for higher level of reliability, up to 128 gigs of RAM, up to 4 terabytes SSD, and with the graphics you can start with NVIDIA Quadro T1000 4 gigabytes all the way up to Quadro RTX 5000 16 gigabytes. There are several display options as well. You can go with Full HD to save on battery, or if you're a creator, I recommend going with a UHD display. There's touch and non-touch versions as well. So this specific review unit is a beast on paper. It has Intel Core i9 processor, 32 gigs of RAM, 1TB SSD, RTX 5000, UHD display, and 94 watt-hour battery. I checked the Lenovo website to see the price for this specific configuration, and it ended up being over $8,000. So with these specs and price, my expectations are super high. Performance is great. Office tasks, multitasking, gaming, video editing, no issues at all. For video editing, I shoot with a Canon EOS RP, editing with 1080p files but exporting in 4K for YouTube. Again, no issues with scrubbing the timeline or exporting videos. For reference, exporting a 10-minute 1080p timeline into a 4K video for YouTube takes about 3 minutes, which is very fast. For comparison, my Surface Book 3 with RTX 3000 Max-Q takes about 6 minutes with the exact same file. You can check the review of the Surface Book 3 in this link. So this laptop is twice as fast as the Surface Book 3, and I know that's only a difference of just a few minutes, but if you're pumping out several videos a week, those minutes do add up, so something to keep in mind whether you need a super powerful editing machine. Now here are some other benchmarks for reference. Alright, so on paper, this laptop should be perfect for creators, but after spending time with it, I'm not totally in love with it. The actual display is great, but the bezel is just too big. I also don't like the quality of the speakers. I've used Lenovo laptops that cost much less than this that have much better speakers. Again, this shouldn't be a problem if you use headphones all the time, but if you're taking a break to watch YouTube videos or watching Netflix movies after work, these speakers will make you want to get a different laptop. And this is kind of important if you're working at home where you're doing your work and media consumption on the same machine. Fan noise is also loud. You'll hear the whooshing sound when editing videos or performing software updates. But if you've used workstations before, this feels normal. Now, battery life is okay. I'm usually plugged in because I'm currently working from home. But if I unplug, that battery meter on the lower right corner tells me that I have about 3 hours before I need to plug back in. Overall, I think if you're considering to get the P15, I'd say wait for the second generation. In that version, I hope that Lenovo decreased the display bezel or maybe change the aspect ratio to add more vertical space. I'd also want them to improve the quality of the speakers. Everything else is great. Performance, keyboard, ports, and build quality are great. Unfortunately, all of that is ruined by the display and speakers. Alright, so that's my review of the Lenovo P15. I do have a great relationship with Lenovo, so if there's a specific laptop or desktop that you want me to review, let me know in the comments and I'll go see if I can get that in for the channel for review. If you found this video helpful, please click that like button. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.